Hi, I'm Howard, and this is my brother Saul from Camera Electronic.
Morning, team.
So we're pretty excited at the moment. Coming up to Easter, Passover, it's an exciting time of year, and so the Easter Bunny is helping us, and we've got some cool sales going on.
Yeah, and those sales will be for all kinds of stuff, from camera gear to vlogging gear to microphones. And really, it's actually an exciting time where it's about memories and moments, photography and videography. You're going to have the family around for all kinds of celebrations, from Easter to Passover, long weekend, camping.
Yeah, also, good opportunity if you're going camping or going away or something like that. Take a drone, take a camera, get some landscapes,
Well,
some
you've just
beach
reminded
shots,
me.
whatever it may be.
Yeah, because I'm going camping this Good Friday for 3 nights, and the last time I went camping, I forgot my drone, which is crazy. Only a camera store to forget your drone, so I'm going to have to pack it in the caravan.
Yeah, I don't use the drone as much, but I think I might actually even take a medium format camera with me and try to get some landscapes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You've shot on GFX before, right?
Only mucking around, not actually gone out and used it properly, so I might do that.
It's an exciting time for medium format because you look at it like in the last 6-12 months, there's been so many cool new cameras that have come out. And in medium format,
Well,
Fujifilm GFX are owning it, Hasselblad are owning it.
102 megapixel for well under 10 grand. It's crazy.
Yeah, which one is that? The 100S
Yeah.
Mark 1.
There's only the Mark 1.
Very good.
There's the 100 Mark 2, which is around 11.5 grand, but that's on special at the moment for Easter. It's 7% off.
Yeah.
And then there's also the 100S.
I never actually understood how much, because someone wanted to buy, I think it was the 100, they looked at the 100S, and then they're like, oh, is the 100 Mark II much better? And I said, oh, look, it's more for the pros. She was just an enthusiast, but I said, well, what do you want to shoot? She wants to shoot aerial. And when we looked at the specs, I was worried the 100 Mark II might be too big and heavy. It's smaller than the original 100.
It is.
The specs actually blew us both out of water. Me and this lady were looking at all the specs, and we went, oh my God, if she's going to do aerial, the amount of extra...
Well, it's got the removable viewfinder as well.
Image stabilization. It was ISO. It was mental.
It's better IBIS. It's more frames a second. It's got the removable viewfinder, which is quite appealing for some people as well, because you can get the tilt adapter from the first GFX and then actually use it like waist level style for the EVF.
It's interesting learning. The more you learn about some cameras, you think, well, how are people still even using and buying all these cameras, well, not just their phone. But then you look at the details and the specs, like 100 megapixel. I think, well, hang on, who's going to even blow up an image that big? But a lot of people do. She's going to make wall art, this lady, of her aerials.
Sometimes
and she's been inspired by other photographers doing the same thing, like Tony Hewitt.
Sometimes it's not even about how much you're going to blow it up, but even the way you can crop in to an image when you've got so much resolution, and it just gives you a good opportunity to do that. But also now that you've got some of the 35mm stuff coming out at 60 megapixels, it's also giving you that opportunity. Like the new Leica SL3, which we're pretty excited about. Went to the launch the other day. That's 60 megapixel now, and it just allows you to crop into the image a lot more if you need to. If you don't have a telephoto lens with you, for example. And
no, Leica were clever as well. Just simple little things that people don't even think about, it makes your photography so much easier. That articulates, not articulating screen, it doesn't spin, but it folds out, makes your shooting from high, from low so much easier.
Yeah.
And at 60 megapixel, do you go for a Leica, or do you go like even the new Hasselblad have got 100 megapixel themselves in that 907X? It looks like the old 500 series cameras.
Of course, but also with these tilt screens, a lot of the people that are using these sort of Leicas and Hasselblads and stuff can normally be people that are a little bit older. They're a bit more established, and then they can afford and justify to spend that sort of money. And they're finding it harder to get down on the ground if they want to shoot something really low angle. Or people with bad knees, things like that, and just gives that other opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and some of the others, some of the greats, Sony, Nikon, Canon, have been putting articulating screens, Fuji, Olympus for years.
Yeah.
And I've seen some guys doing live band shoots, guys and gals, and shooting from up high and articulating that screen. You can get some mad shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the articulating screen's been a big win. That now it's finally in some of the cameras, like Leica Q3 has got it, Leica SL3's got it. I mean, Hasselblad were the kings of shooting from waist level. They did it from way back in the 50s.
Yeah, the other thing now as well is, as all the modern cameras are a lot more video capable and people are often using them to do video, it makes your video a lot easier when you've got that screen that you can turn horizontal and look at.
Yeah, true story. True story. Instead of having to, because the more gear you have to buy like a Atomos monitor and add it on. But if the screen's actually halfway decent on the back of the camera, and it can flip out and spin around. I know you see a lot of vloggers doing that rather than having like a whole big setup. They might just want something small and quick, and they'll use the screen that if it folds out nicely from the camera. Yeah,
definitely. But I mean, it's pretty cool. But with the Easter sale, there's some other really cool stuff as well. So
yes, tell me about the Easter sale. When I was looking at it, there was like 3,030 items. I thought, Jesus.
Only.
Yeah.
Well, there's a half a dozen or so Canon cameras that are sort of $100 to $250 off. Canon's also got some cashbacks on at the moment on some of their mirrorless range. Nikon's got some gifts with purchase. So via redemption, you're getting some extra accessory kits and stuff like that with some of the Z cameras. Plus, if you attach a lens at the same time you buy a camera, then you get 10% off the Z lens, which is really cool. What have we got? 15% off Sigma. There's 20% off some Tamron. There's 15% off Pentax lenses. 7% off most of the Fuji, but off X and G.
Impressive that he remembers all of this off the top of his head. There's so many
not
sales.
All of it. The new X100 Mark VI.
Mate, you got to scroll through those 3,000 items, or just filter it and just go by brand. It might be easier.
Yeah. There's 13% off most Sony lenses, which is really cool.
Yep. Sony's still king of the kings.
Yeah. Lots of really cool specials. So make sure you hop on the website and check them out.
Actually,
most of
speaking
them are going
Sony,
till the 3rd.
Really? Till 3rd of April? Nice. Yeah. Good. When I get back, I might buy something. I leave on Good Friday and then I'm back on Easter Monday, I think, or might be Sunday night. And then, I am, because it's my nephew on the other side's birthday on April 2nd. I should go photograph. They're going to Aqua. We did a shoot out there, didn't we? With the speedboats.
Yes, and
that was mental.
There's 15% off Olympus and IM system, so you could grab the TG7 and shoot underwater with that at Aqua.
Yes, oh my God. And someone came in yesterday, because the TG7's like top of the tops when it comes to small underwater. But and you can get like a dive housing and everything, but someone came in and bought a Ricoh G6, WG6 yesterday.
Yeah, they're a nice little camera.
20 metres underwater, and it was tiny. And it was for their son who was going on a gap year. And he's got like an iPhone 15, and Apple, mate, they're amazing, but it's actually quite a lot of money. I mean, you might be doing it on a plan, but at $1,500, $2,000, if he uses his phone, God forbid something happens on his gap year, which can easily happen, he just wanted something a bit cheaper. I think they're like $500, so it was better to just have one camera, does all the Wi-Fi straight to the phone. He loves it. But you were talking about Sony before, and all the specials are on. I can't imagine the new A9 III is on special, or is it?
No, the A9 III, it's just lenses with Sony. But the A9 III with the new global shutter, we're actually doing a really cool event. So we're taking some clients. I think there might still be 1 or 2 spots left.
It's next Wednesday, yeah?
The Perth Glory game next week, Wednesday evening.
It's not a practice session, it's a proper game, live game?
It's a game.
Nice.
Proper game.
Nice.
And we're going to be taking some clients and shooting pitch side.
What's the top shutter speed? Is it like 80 thousandths of a second?
It's crazy. Crazy. So, I mean, yeah, but with high frame rate as well, it'd be pretty cool to do some sequences, hopefully get a few goals or some good action. And
if you're doing like mad studio flash stuff, we've got like a ballerina jumping up in the air and shooting her. The only lighting system I reckon that would even keep up with that would have to be Profoto, right?
Yep.
We went to that Leica SL3 launch in Sydney. They were using Profoto packs like the Pro 11, massive pack. I mean, look, they're expensive, but you can rent them as well and use that with a global shutter. Insane. Fastest in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Very cool.
And then on top of that, just so many new cameras have come out, like the cool Retro X100 is out. That's just one I'm thinking of. What other new cameras have we had in the last few months for 2024?
Well, Sony's constantly evolving the Z range, the ZV range. So blogging, vlogging cameras, things like that.
Like ZV-1 and that?
Yeah, so you got the ZV-1, you got the ZV-1 Mark II, you got the ZV-1F, you got the ZV-E10, which is interchangeable lens on that one. So quite a few options there.
Plus, I mean, it's so important with vlogging, and even today we're using Rode. But Sony are also bringing out some of their own mics, I saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they've been bringing them out for a while now. So we've got
headphones
that new mic stand that we're getting set up. Yeah. So monitoring headphones specifically, rather than, they're not like the recreational earbuds or things like that, but more if you're doing video work, they're specifically monitoring headphones. So put them on and listen to what you're.
So it's actually nice to be in the one ecosystem. So if you're using Sony camera, Sony mics, Sony headphones, that's pretty cool. I mean, there's so much happening in the world of video. Everyone's talking
Nikon's
about
just
it.
bought Red.
I know.
It's crazy. So it's probably, look, I don't know if we'll see the full outcome of that for probably a few years in developments, but that's just speculating at the moment.
What are Red using? They're using EF mount, and RF as well. Because the new Canon C70 is RF.
They did have. I thought they had some that were PL mount as well.
Yeah, and you can change them. You're right, because you can do array mounts, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because you think about it, Canon's got their cinema range. You know, they've got C70, they've got R5C, they've got a heap of cinema EOS. They've been in cinema for years. Same with Sony, but Nikon didn't have an in.
And
so
Panasonic
now they own Red.
as well.
And
so
Pana,
those
course,
guys
Pana.
all have, fantastic cinema range systems.
And Blackmagic, Australian, very proud.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of that industry, I mean, Rode that we see here, it's actually still all made in Australia, in Sydney. I got the tour of the factory last year.
That's right, yes you got to go to the factory. I wish I went to the factory.
And that's still owned by the original family here in Sydney.
Yeah, and then you got really DJI, cool. A drone manufacturer that now owns Hasselblad. Yeah. And then on the other side, they're actually bringing out microphones, wireless mics. What's that got to do with drones? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
they're good.
They're such a big brand and they're doing well. Like their mics are pretty popular.
But going back to the cinema side, now that the writer's strike is over and we're actually starting to see some filming again, we've just had that Nick Cage Hollywood blockbuster filmed here in Western Australia called The Surfer, which is really cool. And one of our clients was actually working on the set of it.
Mate, Australian cinema's been awesome for years. There was a guy in the store yesterday who actually worked on the set of Brand New Day.
Yep.
That movie from years ago. So he actually worked on it.
So there's actually some amazing Australian photographers that work on these Hollywood film sets. So we've got David Dare Parker, who's here in Western Australia, that works on the film sets.
Yes, as a set photographer. Jason Boland.
Jason Boland, who's from Perth but based in Queensland.
Mate, he worked on The Matrix.
And he does all, like the James Cameron movies and he does all the, what's Thor's name?
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he does all the Hemsworth movies.
Can't forget Hemsworth.
No, all of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. Like there's some good Australian talent out there in this game doing that stuff.
Yeah, and because the cameras are quieter and they've got silent shutter as well, you can use them on a film set. Yeah. Well, Sony, you've got the silent shutter.
Before, you remember, Jason showed us, he used to have that big blimp that looked like a massive underwater housing, and put his camera inside it when he was on a film set, so that it was completely silent on and set. Not disturb anything they were doing. But yeah,
and then the other flip side to all these cameras we're talking about, medium format and video. There's the 360-degree cameras that we stock from Insta, and then you've got GoPro on their heels a bit as well. But I still think, as much as I love the GoPros, the Insta 360s are the way that everyone's going for, action, real crazy, snowboarding, surfing, all that sort of stuff, skating.
But there's the other things you can do with those as well. Like you can wear them. There's that one that you put the magnet underneath your shirt and you put the shirt. So here's the Insta 360 Go. So this is the one I was talking about.
Just magically appeared.
It did.
Thanks, Ev.
How does it come out? This topic comes out. How does it come out? And there's an articulating screen.
Yeah, for vlogging there.
Push the button. There you go. Thank you. My very tall assistant. He doesn't need an articulating screen because he can just stand up above everybody and do it. But yeah, exactly. You've got this little beauty here, magnet there, and you can actually wear it. Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
Here's something we prepared earlier. But that Leica, I must say, that Leica SL3 has been killing it. And when we get stock, it's still very, very new. But even the SL2 is still a magical camera, although there's a lot of rumours that Panasonic are going to bring out their version.
So I could just walk around like this.
I wish you would, actually. I'd like Howard to walk around. I'll follow him with this.
And that is actually an invisible selfie stick.
Yeah, so super cool.
Very cool. So
I've seen the footage from this.
You'll just see
we've got it on the
like
big screen at Murray Street.
And the stick won't show, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, imagine if Howard was like that, just disappeared.
No, that's not possible.
Not possible at all, let me tell you. But no, Insta 360, so you can see domed lens, 180-degree lens on both sides, and then the software just connects all that footage together, disappears the selfie stick. We're selling the flight board, right? I mean, when you see people flight boarding with this, you've got to have good balance, but they're pretty amazing. And then you've got the DJI wireless mics. You reckon Canon are going to get stressed about Nikon buying Red?
It's beautiful.
Do something
case.
in 2025?
Chargers in the case as well, so you can see the lights there on the front.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And you've got with that selfie stick, the legs open up, so you can have it as an actual monopod as well. if I don't break it.
Well, it'd actually be a tripod. It's got 3 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about DJI can actually integrate with that as a microphone.
Yeah, right.
Bluetooth, via Bluetooth.
That's the mic 2 set, the new set? Yep.
Yeah, and then you've got these little connectors as well. So
That's the new DJI wireless mic 2 set you've got in between your legs, so to speak.
yeah, so you've got your Apple connector.
Yep.
You've got your USB-C connector for Androids as well.
Oh, sick. All right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the individual piece can be Bluetooth connected directly to that.
Yep.
All the phones.
Yeah. So that's what you can do. You can wear this. You can either clip this onto the top of the camera with a little shoe here, or you can wear it on your body wherever, and then you can wirelessly connect it via Bluetooth to cameras.
Yeah, so if you're on an electric skateboard or something, you can get sick footage, and it's all just Bluetooth straight into the 360-degree camera. Because the one great
Small,
thing about video
beautiful.
is mad audio. You need really good audio.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. And that's with DJI coming out with some very cool new set.
Yeah, DJI is going to have a big year, I think. There's lots of new stuff coming. I mean, we've got the Mavic Mini 4, which has been pretty exciting. But
Yeah.
the good thing is...
Still
these-
selling a lot of the Mini 4 Pro, actually.
Yeah,
must say.
but the small drones used to be a bit problematic in the wind. And I mean, Western Australia is such a windy area. Australia has got a very windy coastline. But
I'll
they're
let
getting,
you know this weekend.
they're getting better and better for that. The one thing people really need to be careful of, though, is even if your battery's rated for half an hour, if you're going out over the water and you take it too far and it's windy, that battery might only last 20 minutes in really windy conditions. So be really careful about how far you take it out.
Always got to take spare batteries. Any
No,
camera
but-
system you buy.
It will come back to base, but if it can't make it, it's going to drop in the water. So you need to make sure that
Yep.
you just be a
Yeah,
little bit
don't
cautious with
risk
your
it, man.
battery.
The minute you hear that it gets to 20%, don't think, oh, I can still go down to 10 or 5%. It's 20% and it's red and it's flashing. Bring it back to base. Don't risk it.
Oh, definitely.
Yep. And then you think about all the new models that have come out in the last few months actually drives excitement and secondhand and trade-ins. So we've got a secondhand sale at the moment, 10%
Yes.
off secondhand. We've got so much awesome secondhand. And people forget, right? Like everyone's into mirrorless, which is cool because it's the newest and latest and greatest. But we've got like DSLRs from Nikon that took wedding photos, took pro shots, like D750s and 800s for cheap as chips, mate. I can't even believe it. And people forget they're full frame. You get a D750 for $600-700, buy lenses, and mate, you're shooting pro work out of that camera.
Yeah.
And we've got D800, got even the Nikon D5. I mean, that thing's a tank. And
Yeah.
we've got them coming up as well.
Look, to
Second
be
hand.
honest, the D850 and the 5D Mark IV, I think are still two of the best spec, best value for money cameras on the market.
Yeah, they won't. Nikon and Canon are both, as far as we know, not discontinuing them. They're
No.
going to keep them going. And there's still DSLR lenses out there, mate. We've got so many Nikon DSLR lenses secondhand. We don't have many in
It's
Canon.
a much more affordable way to get into things. But on the other side now, it's actually starting to get better for a lot of the long lenses and birding. Like they just had the BirdLife conference in Adelaide, the national conference on the weekend.
Hey, we had a birder in yesterday. Bought the Tamron 150 to 600.
Yeah,
the new
that's what I was going
G2
to say.
lens.
There's all these new lenses. Sony's 300mm 2.8's out now. Nikon's got their Z180
true.
to 600, which is a fantastic lens. Just a lot of, Sigma's 60 to 600. We were using that out of the, not birding, but at the jet powerboats recently. That was really cool.
Yeah, I did have a guy trade in this Canon 200 to 400 with the built-in 1.4 converter. He was using it for birds, but we've got it on display now at Murray Street. That lens is mental. It's like a 17 grand lens, and it's going for, at the moment, with the 10% off sale, 8,999. But if you love anything to do with surf, sports, birds, nature, that is one of the best lenses Canon ever made.
And we've got that Nikon 600mm as well, F-mount.
Yeah, true story. True story.
Well, actually, two Nikon 600mm. One very old one, the old
No.
AFI.
Sold it. Sorry, everyone. That's gone.
Okay, but we've got the AFS VR.
Yeah, you can buy the one that
FL.
Howard's talking about. And what else is happening in the world of video? Do you reckon AI? I
So-
mean, because everyone's talking about AI with stills.
did somebody buy that 600mm for sport or for wildlife?
Sport, I believe. Maybe a little bit of wildlife, but mainly sport.
Funnily enough, somebody bought the 400mm from the same guy, but bought it for band photography.
Yeah, well,
Music
depending on
photography.
where you go in some of the stadiums, if you need a 400-2.8.
Yeah, but also
Isabel uses a 400-2.8.
Yeah, but they only let a very small number of people at the very front at the pit. Often people have to go back to where the sound part is. the sound desk, and so they're shooting from a fair way away, so they need a 300 or 400 to get the distance.
Yeah, well, you mentioned like Sony's new 300-8, which is awesome, but mate, they've had a 400-8 for a long time as well. We've got one of them in our rental fleet. That's a mad lens for, like you said, for bands, for sports, whatever. Yeah, peeping Tom. AI influence on video. AI. So AI, we talked about it last time, how it's affecting stills and creating photography. Is it going to have much to do with the video market, you reckon?
Oh, look, the AI technology will get better and better, and I'm sure that it will. How that'll impact things...
Well, you're seeing it a bit now. I just watched, because I love it. I love all that old Mafia stuff. I watched The Irishman again. And the way they use the...
I found it a bit slow. I watched about the first half hour.
It's like over 3 hours. But the effects they did on De Niro's face and Pesci to make them look young, that's... God forbid. I mean, imagine if they made a movie with no actors and it was all just done that way. I mean, they have done some similar stuff over the years. But it'll be interesting to see if AI gets bigger in the actual film market. In stills, it's huge. And people are embracing it.
Yeah, look, the technology will get better. But, it's the same as on the Nikon Z9 and Z8.
Yep.
They've got that AI in their autofocus, so that the autofocus is learning and getting better.
Yeah, true.
And,
true.
They'll find ways to continue to use that technology. And Nikon actually owns that Mark Roberts motion control that make all those...
Yeah, like robotics and
motorised things. So
they'll be controlled by AI. So you'll see AI in the cinema market.
But it'll be interesting because
controlling robotics.
Well, Nikon with their technology does stuff with robotics, does stuff with AI, and now having bought Red, that's where we
see what Nikon's doing. So
that's where we may see what's happening there.
Yep.
So
they own robotics, they own Red.
Those robotics they do, I don't know if you've seen, they use them at the tennis. They first tried it at the Australian Open in Melbourne a few years back, where you've got a Pro Nikon camera on a robotic arm, and it's actually going back and forth to each end of the court on these big arms that sort of look like these.
I'm saying, and it's like
controlled.
the PTZ cameras,
Yep.
pan, tilt, zoom. So they like a small contained camera. Normally it's just got one built-on lens. Sony have just brought out one. I think it's coming out like this month. It's called the FR7. And you can actually use all the E-mount lenses. It's a small contained little thing, and it turns in. So say if you could use it in a soccer environment, you can use it for other sports. And instead of having this big thing on an arm, it's all small and contained, and you can choose different lenses. So the FR7 from Sony PTZ camera, very cool.
It'll be interesting to see how far Nikon take it with Red, because Sony's top cinema camera, the Venice, you're talking over 100,000.
People are still buying it. It's like medium format.
They're selling.
Well, they
numbers
rent
of them
more,
into the cinema and filming industry.
Or you'd have to when you're doing longer videos and longer form.
Yeah.
Like short form content, when you're doing like Black Magics and some of the Reds and stuff like that and Canons. But when you're doing the longer videos, the big cinema cameras like the Venice from Sony, you still need it.
But I mean, now that you've got things like A7S, A7S, the Panasonic
cooling fans, it's
the Panasonic GH series, the FX30, all these sort of cameras, C70. It makes it really accessible to shoot, music videos or short form videos, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
And in an affordable way. Some of the Blackmagic pocket cameras, and they're so mobile. And there's so many good cinema lenses now too. You've got Takina, Zeiss, Sigma, Nissi, Sarui. They're all making good cinema lenses.
Panasonic and Leica's partnership and Sigma. The three of them use the one mount, the L mount. So we've got all those Panasonic full frame cameras.
Leica's got their cinema lenses as well.
Yep, and you can put them on everything. They even make them, I think, in an Arri mount maybe.
Yeah, but the camera manufacturers are doing all sorts of interesting things now. Leica's making optics.
It'd be hard to know what glass to buy because Sigma make awesome glass. That's available in cinema lenses, and so is Leica, is Zeiss.
Leica and Pentax both make glasses for optical glasses as well, lenses.
True. Yep.
And Leica's making their laser TVs now.
Yeah, and the watch.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind the Leica watch.
Oh, it's too small and light for me.
I haven't even had a chance to pick one up.
Oh,
I've got some of the old ones.
Yeah.
Some of the old ones. But I don't know. Any? What's the best or most favourite? There's no best. What's the most favourite camera for you so far since January? Because there's been quite a few new models.
Oh.
Just in the last 3 months.
I think I'm excited by the X100.
Mark 6, yep.
But I haven't had a chance to use that yet because we're just getting them to the customers as soon as we can.
I had to play with our one, with the demo one, the other night when we did the photo walk. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
I'm excited by
40
that
megapixel.
because it's so compact and small.
Yeah.
Which means it's really convenient to walk around with.
And isn't it mad how that $1,000 Canon, the G7X Mark II and III, they're just mental again.
Yeah, well, there's a big resurgence in compact cameras. Unfortunately, a lot of them are starting to get discontinued by the manufacturers as they're running out of components. And so many people are wanting that again for travel. But, our friend, you were talking about the gap year earlier, our other friend's daughter's going to move to Europe for a year and taking a gap year. And they said, look, we wanted to have a camera that's not just the phone. What should we get? And they got one of the ZV-1s, so they can do a little bit of video, a little bit of stills, got the selfie mode, can do a bit of YouTube and vlogging and things like that. And yeah, it's a perfect little camera.
And it's so funny because Kodak have re-released, I think it's about $8,000, a Super 8 camera.
Yes, I know.
And so we didn't even talk about
it's
film.
a hybrid digital as well.
Really?
I
didn't know that. I knew it was Super 8. I didn't know it was hybrid.
I believe it is. I don't know, look, that's something that still excites me. I think we've spoken about it before, but the hybrid instant cameras from Fujifilm Instax as well that can do both digital and still spit out your little Instax prints. I think there's a lot of application for that, particularly for businesses and events. So as somebody's arriving at an event, you can take a photo, you can give them a print, but then you can still keep the digital copy and use it for your socials.
Awesome. I think we should think of what's one favourite or one big tip from each of us for the public about anything when it comes to gear. What's your one tip when it comes to your equipment?
Clean it regularly.
Yeah.
And always check it before you go out on your shoot. So check your batteries are charged, check you got your memory cards and do all of that. And always download and save your images. I lost a camera in Bali when we were whitewater rafting. We had an accident. And then I realised that I hadn't actually backed up and saved my photos from a few weeks' worth.
Oh, God.
And, losing the camera is really upsetting, but it's the memories that you've got on that camera or on that memory card, which is what's most important.
Yeah.
And I lost all of that through just being lazy.
Yeah, it's bad management, but, you learn from it.
Yeah.
My biggest tip would be just batteries, man. Whether you're shooting on film gear like an old Nikon FM2, and the battery really only does the light meter, but just always carry a spare battery. If you like a Q3, like a SL3, Nikon Z8, always carry a spare battery. Even if you think, but my battery lasts longer than anybody else's battery, always carry a spare battery. And then start exploring with light. I think ProPhoto is untapped. People don't realise how amazing it is. Same with Godox. Try different lighting techniques. That's a great way to change your photography. And if I was to come up with an end of financial year teaser, we've got 2 end of financial years. Right now, it's the end of the Japanese and German financial year, end of March.
Yes.
So there's heaps of deals on the website on the Easter sale for that. Plus, we're not far off June 30. So any teasers? Because Howard's always got massive spreadsheets and knows all the discounts coming up. But I don't know, anything we can really give someone a tease for?
It's probably a bit too soon to know what the deals will be. Look, there'll be good sales.
The suppliers change them daily.
There'll be a good interest-free period. There'll be, all the normal things. There'll probably start to be some cashbacks from June, July, I'd imagine, around tax time. But yeah, probably a little bit of watch this space at this stage.
Yeah.
But look, there's a fair bit going on the rumour sites about, what may be coming next. More excitedly than end of financial year is it's an Olympic year. And an Olympic year, the big manufacturers always bring out the big pro cameras. They fight over each other
to have your cameras at the Olympics. They fight over each other.
If I was a betting man, then I'd say
which he is
for the Olympics. You're either going to see some big announcements from the major brands just prior to the Olympics, or it'll turn out that the journos at the Olympics are using the gear and then it gets announced at some point then, but maybe they've already been used it under embargo or something like that. In saying that, Sony's already just bought out the A9 Mark III. Nikon's already bought out the Z9 and Z8, so I wouldn't expect another top proing camera from them.
Olympus bought out the OM1 Mark II.
Yes, there's the OM1 Mark II.
Like a SL3.
Like a SL3, which is really
Hasselblad 907X100.
Nikon and Canon a run for their money. But
Fuji X100 almost every brand. So who hasn't bought out something?
Well,
Panasonic. There must be. I think there is something new coming from Panasonic.
And Canon. The rumour sites have been going nuts for ages.
Oh, yes, something from Canon, which we're not allowed to talk about.
Well, it's all speculation at this stage, but you know,
Is it?
everybody's rumouring that we're going to see an R1 at some point, that the R5, you know, is
The
maybe
R1
due
is going to
for
be a
Mark
weapon,
II.
and it's not far away.
And also with hybrid content creation now, you know, who knows, maybe we'll see an upgrade on an R5C or some sort of upgrade in that area. Maybe
That'd be
we
good.
see something new in the FX range. All speculation, but it'll be interesting coming
One
into
guy
the
bought an
Olympics.
R5C the other day for
Actually-
weddings. He loves it.
Well, there's the A9 Mark III, but the A1 hasn't been updated for ages. So,
Ah,
you know,
A1 Mark II.
there's lots of opportunity there potentially for a top-end, I suppose, hybrid camera that does really good stills, but also very capable video.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. It's going to be an
And,
exciting year.
Oh, 100%.
So what have we talked about? We basically talked about every single camera brand. We mentioned accessory brands, DJI, Insta360, Profoto, Godox. Oh, we forgot about Hobalite. They're one of the sickest, coolest little continuous lights. When you talk about continuous, it's so important. It can be easier than flash. It's good to experiment with flash, but it's so much easier when you just turn on a light and it works.
And
So
also, because then you
Hobalite's
can
a
use
big
it for
one.
both video and stills. But there's two things we haven't spoken about:
What's that?
filters and tripods. So, you know, if you're going away, it's a good
Mate,
opportunity.
there's a lot of stuff with camera electronic.
It's a good opportunity to
And
try something
Wanderlust.
different. So, go to a seascape or a waterfall or a
Nissi.
lake or something like that.
They're amazing. When it
Try
comes,
some,
I've
try some
never
neutral
seen-
density filters or some graduated
Never seen a
filters.
brand so proactive. Of course, Hoya is wonderful,
Yeah.
but Nissi seems to be proactive in all these
So
different
use
shapes
a tripod,
and sizes.
use a neutral density filter. So for those that don't know what a neutral density filter does, if you go in the middle of the day, you've got this beautiful sunshine, and you try and take a photograph of a waterfall, well,
With this stunning
and
sort
you,
of
and you get that sort
stream.
of creamy look of the water all flowing in slow
Yeah, you
motion.
got to have an ND filter.
You can't do it because you want to be doing an exposure of anything from, you know, 2 or 3 seconds up to about 30 seconds,
Oh, yeah,
depending
of
on
course.
what you want to do. And if it's bright sunlight, you're not going to be able to achieve that. So when you put a neutral density filter on the front, if it's a 10-stop filter, it takes away 10 stops of light. So you can slow your shutter speed down at a.
I know a lot
if
of
you're on a
photographers
reasonable
and
ISO,
videographers love
and you want to
ND
be
filters.
shooting like maybe f11, f16, so you get a bit of depth
True
of field,
story.
then your shutter speed's going to natively be maybe 125th of a second, 250th of a second, something like that. You're just going to be freezing that water.
Yep.
But by putting a significant neutral density filter on, you're going to be able to slow it right down and achieve that sort of slow shutter speed of multiple seconds
Yep.
and do it that way.
And then tripods.
If you do the graduated filter, you're not going to be hand holding those sort of shots, so you need a
You
tripod to
can't.
put
You
it on.
must have a good tripod.
Yeah.
And then there's like 100 different
So then-
tripods because of size and weight.
But if you're going somewhere like
Everything else.
that, you can use a tripod that's got the waterproof legs, so you can actually get it into the water a little bit. So Sarui make a waterproof tripod. Then you've got some really nice lightweight travel tripods from brands like Gitzo, from brands like Peak Design.
Sarui.
Yeah. And then your Manfrottos for your beautiful everyday stuff. And then, of course, just a bag to put it all in.
That's it. Oh my God, camera bags. That'll be another day because I think we're out of time. We've talked about so much cool stuff from camera brands to AI in creative, in stills and video. We talked about DJI, Insta360, DJI and Insta360 partnering with their mics. Mate, there's just so much cool stuff out there from every brand you can think of at Camera Electronic. And mate, we've been doing it forever, and we talk about 50 odd years. I'm not even 50 yet, neither is he, but we just love photography, and it was our dad that started the business.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.